It's a surprising job. In fact, I would say the only way you can really understand what happens when I'm at work is to see it. The best way is to see the tour. I get to work in the old town of Edinburgh, which is a World Heritage Site. Well, I've been a Jumper-Ooter for probably about a year and a half now. I thought it seemed like an interesting job. It really wasn't what I expected, no. A Jumper-Ooter is basically there to be the ghosts in Edinburgh's old town. It's my job to dress up in costumes and to jump out and to try and get some screams from the group. There's a witch called Agnes Finney. Agnes was a very unlucky woman who, like many people, was accused of being a witch. Back in 1643 she was executed. There's a mad monk who lives down on the Cowgate. He had a monastery that burnt down to the ground. Most of the characters had pretty grisly ends, to be honest with you. The tour is led by a man called Adam Lyle deceased. Now, he's a dead highwayman. He was executed, it was on the 27th of March 1811. So he has been chosen basically to tell you the stories, which I jump out during. It's really Adam Lyle's choice about where the tour goes, what happens, what stories he tells. So I have to be quite adaptable. So I'll usually have a little chat with him beforehand about what he intends to do, different props we might use, different approaches, because every tour is different. You never know what's going to happen. I operate in the closes, in the alleyways, like this. And that gives it a nice atmosphere. That does a lot of my job for me, probably. People are already a bit spooked out by the time they arrive. A lot of the time tourists want to know what's going on. They'll stop, they'll try and ask you questions, which is unfortunate if the group's just around the corner, obviously. They'll be coming down this way in a second, so I need to get ready. You let her on. I'll hide in an alleyway, the group will come through, and then I'll jump out, burst out with a scream and try and get a fright. Well, there's a lot more technique to it than you might think. A lot of people would assume that my job basically just involves screaming and running, but there's a lot of timing. You've got to maybe wait until the group's a little bit past you to let a couple of people pass so that they think that there's no one arriving. You've got to wait until you're close to the group, but not too close or else they'll see you before you scream. There are points in the tour where you really have to be quite quick, but sometimes there's quite a lot of waiting around, maybe getting a little bit nervous. You can feel your heart beating as the group's approaching, very, very quiet. Sometimes you're so close to the group before you jump out that they could hear you if you, you know, sneeze or cough or anything like that, so you've got to be quite quiet.